What's going on, guys? Matt Wacek here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a subscriber's website, but before we get into that, I want to update you guys on the Google Call Only Ads case study with doing the water damage campaign for a pay-per-call offer. And if you don't care about that, I will put a link down below to a timestamp. You can just skip ahead. But frankly, it is not going to happen because in order to create a successful call-only ad campaign and to do what it is that I want it to do and to see the goals that I want to see it achieve, then it would take a lot of focus away from my primary business, which is what really matters most to me, which is client and student results. So to take away from what is already working over in this business, which is doing lead gen SEO and just overall generating leads through SEO, whether it's for a client site or it's a student that is doing this with their site or my own sites, then that is really distracting to have to go do all that, because call only ads really have nothing to do with obtaining more organic traffic to a website and then further boosting the conversions with social media retargeting and then taking those sites, scaling them, and then setting them up to be sold. Doing all that over here with the call only campaign would be a massive distraction, would really take away from what my goal is, which is creating the best lead gen SEO training on the planet that teaches people how to build, rank, scale, and then set websites up to be sold. So call only ads have nothing to do with that. So I'm sorry for those of you that are bummed. It is definitely not the best news to give to you guys, but that is just the reality of it. There's only so much focus a person has in a single day. And the aforementioned stuff is what my core focus is on, and getting student and client results with that. So I know that's probably a big bummer to a lot of you guys, but hey, that's just the reality of it. So let's get into this site. We're going to be taking a look at a subscriber's website. He had reached out to me, and as you can tell, it's in the rehab niche. Of course, I'm covering up the logo, the contact information, because this subscriber wanted this to remain private. But I know that you guys here on the channel could definitely benefit from some of the advice that I'm going to give him to really, for him especially, and also for you guys watching, to maximize your conversions, because he's getting a lot of traffic, but the conversion rate is really, really, really low, and the quality of those conversions, those calls coming through, are also very low, and he's not monetizing as much as he could be, and the monetization that he is getting is quite low. We're talking less than what one really good qualified call would generate. And I know that this person has put a lot of effort into building this site, so of course I want them to be able to maximize the amount of money that they can generate from this particular asset. So right away, the visual aspect of the site looks really good. One thing that stood out to me right away was this looking for a trusted rehabilitation center. So Centre is how it's spelled. That is not how the US spells things, and this site is based in the US. So you're going to want to fix some of that stuff. I know it's really nitpicky, but this, especially with headlines, is very, very important to have done correctly. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs say grammar doesn't matter, that stuff. Yeah, that's fine for the most part. But when you're talking sales pages, contracts, and other documentation, that is very, very, very important. So we're going to test this zip code here for find a rehab center near you, and we're just going to click it and see what happens. So I did the zip code for downtown Minneapolis, and nothing comes up. So I either would, if you have time to be able to fix that, then sweet. If not, then maybe just remove the feature altogether. So I'd recommend moving just this drop-down menu here, where I'm assuming if we go down here, we'll go to Minnesota, search center. And so this does actually work. So it looks like you have your site set up as a directory. So that's really interesting. That might be one of the reasons to why you're not getting as many conversions as you like, or as many high quality conversions. So frankly, I would probably remove this unless you know the way to fix that to make it work, because obviously we just did Minnesota and Minneapolis ones showed up. So maybe just move that up here. Now this down here does not really make a lot of sense to me, and I was able to clarify this with the person who owns the site, and they modeled this site after another big name directory in the rehab space. But what comes into play here is that when you are building a site for pay-per-call affiliate marketing, you want the site to essentially look like a local business's website. You don't want it to be a directory. You want it to be built like a directory as far as URL structure goes, but you don't want it to actually list other companies' names on here unless they're paying you for these leads. So you're essentially giving them free traffic. Now, I know you didn't mention anything regarding if you were selling any leads to businesses or anything like that, if it was strictly just pay-per-call. But right now, you're pretty much giving away your traffic to these guys for free off of a lot of hard work that you've done, because there's a lot of pages I know that you've built out for this site. So now we get down here to the selection for your city. So this is awesome. This is definitely looking good. We're going to open up the Minnesota page. It's just easy because I know the state very, very well. And we'll scroll down here. Well, down here to just another section. This image here doesn't exactly fit the tone of a rehab type of website, but I mean, if it works, it works. Generally, people aren't probably going to be coming to your homepage because you're going to be ranking these city plus service pages. So this might not even really get seen that much. But this picture looks like it belongs. And I know I'm being really picky, but this looks like it belongs on a law firm site or a real estate site where someone or a couple is excited to be signing to buy something, or maybe even like a car dealership website or something like that. So this photo is rather out of place. And one thing that just caught my eyes, I see that there's this Northern Mariana IS. I don't even know what that is. That's not a state in the United States. So we click on it and it says Rehab Center in Northern Mariana IS, LS. I don't know what this would be an abbreviation for. There is no state that has that abbreviation. So this is really just a wasted page, frankly. But, and I know I'm being kind of mean. However, the truth of what is actually real and honest is it's going to actually help you with your business. So if anyone thinks I'm being mean, by the way, it's because I care about you and your success with your business, with what you're doing and your efforts that you're putting forth, building out websites. So just this text, this page is really worthless, honestly. It just says exhaustive list of rehab centers in Northern. I don't know if you created the content or you hired someone, but it needs an improvement there. It looks like you guys have a blog on here also, so that's really good. So it looks like then you have a blog, so that's good. And then another final call to action right here. Again, I would remove this zip code thing and just change it out with that drop-down menu. Now, for the city pages, what I would recommend doing is, I have the URL covered for obvious reasons, because you wanted to keep this site private, but you have the domain name, and then you have .com, and you have /rehab center in Minnesota. So what I would change that to is just Minnesota, and just have it structured down by that. And then when we get into these cities, for example, we'll go to Nate-to-Wash. I think it's somewhere up north in northern Minnesota. But this should be a unbelievably really simple, easy keyword to rank for, and want to see if you're ranking for that. Because if you're not, then there's definitely something up with your site. So SE Wilmer, so let me look at that really quick. That's not a city name. Wilmer is the city. SE is just short for Southeast, and it's a small town to the west of the Twin Cities Metro, so it's not going to be the city name. So if I land on this page now, your domain structure, or your URL structure rather, says listing location, then Southeast to Wilmer. So there's an issue there. You don't want it to be changing all this URL structure like that. You want it to be a brandname.com / your state / city, and then maybe -rehab center or -rehab clinic, or whatever wording you want to use in your URL. And then on your meta title, you use your synonyms for it. So if it's, for this example, Wilmer Rehab Center, you have that in the domain, or in the URL rather. Then you'd want to have Wilmer Treatment Center, Rehab, Drug Addiction Center, whatever, in the title, and then your description, you use other synonyms related to this keyword in that description also, and then maybe include the phone number in that description also. So there's that, and what appears to be the reason why this page was like that is because this is the address to a rehab clinic in Wilmer, with Southeast as part of the street name. So that's just kind of that's just probably an error. I'm obviously assuming you probably don't live in Minnesota, so you wouldn't know that. But someone who is looking for a rehab clinic in Wilmer, Minnesota is going to see that, and they're going to be confused to why does this say SE Wilmer? That's not the city where this person is located. So they're going to be really confused. So anyways, let's get back to the Nate-to-Wash page. So as it loads up, we are here on what should be the city plus service page. So this page should be the one that it's filled with content, and should be the page that's ranking. And when I took a look at some of the search results, you're very, very, very far away from even just the ridiculously low competition keyword that this particular city is. This is a really small town, and you're not anywhere near the first page. And that's a huge problem, because you should really be able to rank with these pages pretty darn quickly if it's all set up properly. Let's take a look at a competitor's website. So this particular site is mixed between lots of content, so it's almost like it's a pay-per-call site, but it's also mixed in with a bunch of like directory style listings of other companies. So what I find interesting with this website, which I'm not going to spend too much time on their site, but they have the phone number of this location on here. So this leads me to believe that I'm assuming these offline businesses are paying to have their site listed or have their information listed on this website. So if that's the route that you're going, hopefully you're charging these companies. Otherwise, if you're not, like I mentioned, you're giving them free traffic. So this particular page should really look a lot more like this page, which is all optimized headlines, optimized text, making it look super local because you have the screenshot of the map here. Lots of optimized headlines, like I mentioned, a good amount of text on here as well. And this particular page is ranking at the top of page 1. So you want to model what these guys have. And one thing that you really need to pay attention to, because this is where I think a lot of what you have is messed up and it's costing you a lot of potential conversions, is this breadcrumb structure right here. So you have, this would be your homepage in this instance. This is for this company, but they have drug rehab centers. Then it goes to the next section, the child page, which is Minnesota for the states. And then you'd have the next child page, another one over. So the next silo down would be Natiwash or city. This could be Minneapolis. This could be Duluth. This could be whatever other city that you're targeting, which you have a City Plus service page in, or a City Plus rehab center page, I guess, or City Plus office location, whatever page. That's what you want this page to be. Unless these companies are paying you to have their site, or their information rather, listed on your site, get their information off. You're all about monetizing with your phone number that's on here. That is it. You don't want to be building out a directory unless your directory is charging to allow people to have their information listed on the site. Because you have to be getting some sort of either traffic, so you monetize with AdSense, which I don't recommend at all, because that's not a good way to be able to build a site to be able to control and scale and be able to sell in the future. So your best bet is going to be just remove this, make it look like it is. Essentially, you want to really make your site look like it belongs, or that it is owned by an offline rehab clinic in this instance, or plumbing company if you're doing that, water damage contractor, roofing contractor, etc., etc. You want it to look like it's a full-on company, because eventually it is a full-on company. Granted, the website is owned by us, but we're the marketer. We're not creating online assets to give another business free exposure online. That's not what we're about at all. So get rid of all this information. It's going to take you a lot of time to get this off, but hey, that is just the reality of it. Or if you decide to hire someone to do it, it's going to take you some man hours, but either way, the work's got to get done. This page needs to be built out with a lot of content. That's how I'm sure that's how a lot of your other City Plus service pages are. Also, the URL structure, like I mentioned, needs to be optimized. You have your branded domain, then you need to have your state right there, because you're simply just doing that. You're building this out somewhat like Yelp, but the Yelp, rather than it being a directory, is Rehab HQ or something like that. The name doesn't matter. But then you have state, and then you have your next silo, your next child page after that is the city. And then that's it. That's where you stop. The city is Rehab Clinic Natiwash or Rehab Clinic Minneapolis, whatever you're trying to target. So bottom line, you have a lot of work ahead of you, and you'd really need to make sure that these pages are optimized. You may see a decrease in conversions and traffic while you're doing this, because there's going to be links, because you can delete these pages and nothing's going to come through, and you're not going to be seeing that traffic because those pages are non-existent. In the future, this should pay off big time, because you have one page at the top of the search results that's going to get that traffic, and it's not going to confuse somebody, because a lot of people don't understand how internet marketing works. They don't understand why there's directories or anything like that. So what could be causing you to either be getting low quality conversions or no conversions at all, or really reduced amounts, is the fact that someone comes at this site and they see, well, not only obviously the numbers are covered here in the video, but they see this toll-free number here at the top. But then they see this other phone number here, which by the way is not a local number to Minnesota. So if I'm someone that's in Minnesota, I'm on a website to make a purchase, make a phone call to a business in Minnesota, and I see an area code from somewhere that I've never even, I didn't even know. I had to go look this one up, and it's far, far, far away from Minnesota. It's going to be confusing, and then that's going to really deter someone from calling, because it makes it look like a complete scam or sketchy or whatever. You don't want that with your website. So that could be deterring people tremendously. And then also someone sees this website and they're like, okay, well, mom's program in Natiwash, they see this goofy phone number that's out of state area code. They're like, well, I'm not going to call through here. I'm just going to Google their name, and then I'm going to call them from that. And that's probably one of the reasons you're lacking in your conversions on this site. So you're definitely going to want to change this phone number to match the same one that you have up here, and have it be a toll-free number. An area code that doesn't match the state is going to stop people in their tracks and they're going to make the phone call. So make sure you adjust that. Hopefully with your WordPress theme, that's relatively easy. But if not, then you have even more work ahead of you. But either way, though, you actually will be deleting these pages, so it really won't matter too much. But that is pretty much the gist of it. Of course, there's no Facebook pixel on the site. I did notice that right away, but then I did look up some of the rules within Facebook because I don't do rehab sites, at least not yet anyways. I may do that in the future, but Facebook does have a rigorous policy for advertising rehab services on their platform. You have to basically be the rehab clinic in order to be able to run ads. So you couldn't even retarget people that visit the site if you wanted to. So it's really a one and done type of thing. So you really got to make sure that your on page is optimized for Google and the humans reading the page. Definitely make sure you want to optimize everything. You have a lot of work ahead of you, but the payoff in the long term is going to help you tremendously because you're delivering a one-stop shop that's going to help people find what it is that they need to find, and you're going to be able to capture those high value conversions that are at the astronomical levels that we're used to seeing when it comes to rehab offers that are at that $400, $500, $800 per 3-minute phone call range. If you guys like this type of content, if you do like me reviewing your guys' sites and giving you pointers on what can help you with generating a better ROI on your efforts and your website that you build, leave a comment down below. I would appreciate it if you went down below, dropped a like on this video. It lets me know that you guys like this type of content. So if you're not already a part of the family, go down below, smash that subscribe button. It's 100% free. Also hit the bell for notifications so that way you know when the newest content's live here on the channel, because I do upload at a pretty sporadic schedule. It's never like the same time or same day or anything like that. So you got to have the notification bell on so that way you know when everything's live. And if you're interested in learning more about how to build websites, rank them in the search engines, and monetize them with lead gen offers, there's a link right down below. You can get access to my course, and if you want to get the 9 most profitable pay-per-call and lead gen niches, there is a link to download that in the description also. So with that said, I will see you guys in the next video.